if you're a child, the things you hear and see and do are shaping you, right? Kids come home saying things they've never even heard before. It's amazing.
Right.
And as an adult, you have to crack into that neural circuitry and reshape it. In childhood, the whole brain is literally more plastic because there's more space for the neurons to move around and make new connections. The whole environment, the chemicals that are swirling around in there are set for plasticity because we were basically designed to come into the world and be customized to our experience. I mean, if the human animal is exceptionally good at any one thing, it's that. Neuroplasticity is not an event. It's a process, and it has two parts. The first one is, if you want to learn and change your brain as an adult, there has to be a high level of focus and engagement. There's absolutely no way around this because, so focus and intensity and that kind of the Goggins phenotype, right? I think Goggins is now a noun, a verb, and a pronoun, right? It's like, it's amazing. So if you're going to Goggins this process, what you need to do is you need to, regardless of how agitated you feel, you have to lean in and focus extremely hard. Now, the reason for that is that there's a neurochemical norepinephrine, also called adrenaline, same thing, that's released in the brain and body. Most people back off at that point because they feel this agitation. But we have to remember that that noradrenaline was designed to get us into movement. That's the purpose of noradrenaline, to take us out of stillness and into movement. And then the other thing we have to do is we have to take that elevated level of alertness and we have to focus it. And there's a second neuromodulator called acetylcholine, which is secreted from this little structure in the base of the forebrain when we visually focus on something. Or in the case of maybe if you're doing auditory learning, when you focus with your auditory attention. Neuroplasticity is triggered when urgency and focus combine. Acetylcholine is released, for the aficionados out there, it's called the nucleus basalis, but that doesn't matter. There's a little compartment of neurons in the base of your forebrain that doesn't like to release acetylcholine on a regular basis. It's greedy. It's greedy, and it doesn't want to use that. If you're a child, it'll drain your brain with acetylcholine. But as an adult, 30, 40, up to 8.
Why is that?
Because Mother Nature designed us to learn what we need to learn and then do that, reproduce and die. I mean, not to be
how rude.
Dark about it, but I would say evolution is not about us, it's about the offspring. I mean, that's what it kind of drew me in neurobiology, is that all these complex things you see in the world, it's all internal. So, if you get urgency, it can come from, let's use David he's a shining example of this, right? You can sit there and just ramp up your level of urgency through purely psychological means. You could take an ice bath. You could do high intensity breathing, anything that brings your level of alertness up. And you need acetylcholine released at the location in the brain that corresponds to what you're trying to learn.